So I have a question for you. If you, in your current state, so whatever age you may be, with whatever resources you may have, wherever you're living, if you thought about changing your path, your career, the direction that you're going in with your passions, do you think you would do it? And do you think you could do it? Up until last month, my answer to that was no. I thought, I'm relatively good where I'm at. I have a good job. I'm working as a videographer, doing freelance stuff, and I live in a good apartment. But the thing that I've always wanted to do, I think, is unachievable. And it was so unachievable to me that it was kind of so far out of my brain. I didn't even think about it. But then this last month happened, and that answer changed from no, it's not possible to maybe it could be. But before you can really understand and grasp all of the crazy stuff that's happened to me this past month, I've got to take you back to the beginning and tell you about a dream that I had that might become my new reality. When I was younger, I had a ton of different kinds of passions. I was really into music. I did a lot of musicals when I was younger, and I was in a couple of bands. I was also super into visual arts. Some of you from this channel actually remember when this used to be a space that I used to post my animated series, and of course videography. That is one of my biggest passions, and telling stories through visual. That started at a very young age when I would make little movies with my friends on my Nikon Coolpix camera, and now that's grown into what it is today, where I'm doing my freelance business and this channel and my second channel. But there is one passion that I've had from the beginning, even before my love for video, and has lasted till now, that has brought me, I would say, the most joy in my life, but I have put on the farthest back burner. And that passion is my love for wildlife. Growing up, I just had such a fascination for different kinds of animals. In my family, we had a ton of pets, most of which being birds, but I had dogs, I had mice, guinea pigs, rabbits, sugar gliders, and more. So I was always hands-on with a bunch of different kinds of animals, and I always found animals just so exciting and so interesting to learn about. The Wildlife World Zoo in Phoenix was one of my favorite places to spend my free time. You could feed the giraffes and look at the lions, and there was just so much fun stuff that you could do there, and I just loved talking to the zookeepers that would walk around about the animals and about how they took care of them and what made that particular animal unique. And as I got older, I got really into learning about wildlife conservation specifically. I learned about endangered species and about all of the threats to our wildlife, like poaching and habitat loss. And I also learned about how the things that affect the animals will go up the chain and eventually affect us as people, and why it's important and vital for us to speak for these creatures that can't speak for themselves. The summer before my freshman year of high school, I was coming home one day and I stumbled across a family of quail. And one of the little babies had its leg twisted backwards and he couldn't really walk. And I watched the mom and the rest of the babies kind of hover around him and try and walk away, and he would try and hobble along next to them, but he just couldn't. I would say they stayed for maybe like 15-20 minutes, and then they just left. It was too dangerous for them to stick around and wait for him. It would have been detrimental to the rest of the family, and so they made the tough choice to leave him behind. But luckily, I was there. So here I am with this tiny little baby quail, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I just Googled, where to bring up an injured bird. And the first place that pops up is a place called Fallen Feathers. And this would be the start of something absolutely life-changing for me. I called up Fallen Feathers, told them that I had this baby. They told me about how, quail often abandon their babies that are injured or sick, and that I should come bring it over. So that's what I did. I put the quail in a box and I made my way over to Fallen Feathers. When I was there, I got a tour of the whole facility, which was actually out of this woman's backyard. Her name is Jody. And it was so cool. I got to see up close and personal owls, hawks, turkey vultures, all of these really awesome birds. And this woman and her volunteers were just taking care of them to be able to rehab them and then eventually release them into the wild. And I found out that, you could just come and volunteer. So I put in my volunteer application, and from then on, I spent almost every day at that woman's house, She became my second mom and taught me lessons beyond wildlife, about life in general. I moved up from learning how to just change food and water out of the different cages, to learning how to feed a rat to a baby hawk, to learning how to hold an owl on my arm. And then eventually I got to go on educational presentations. I got to go to schools, different events that were held around Phoenix. I even got to go back to the Wildlife World Zoo, the zoo that I grew up with, and present birds there. I would hold a bird on my arm and I would talk to people about, this is Robert, and Robert is an owl that's missing a wing because of this. And I got to tell kids and even adults about the animals and what threatens them and what harms them, and how we as human beings can make their existence sustainable and how to make their lives better, and what we can do to do our part. It was so rewarding to be able to share the education that I got with the rest of the world. But of course, while I was there, I couldn't just talk about birds and change cages and do all that. I wanted to share my passion for video and photo with the wildlife and the care that we were doing in order to get the word out. So I started making little videos and like photo presentations and putting things on the website and basically revamping the presence of Fallen Feathers. It was my first ever experience with making videos about wildlife that actually had a big impact, and it was for a good cause. And while all of this is happening, I'm going home, and while most kids are watching, Hannah Montana and Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, I'm going home and I'm watching National Geographic and Animal Planet because I loved watching wildlife documentaries. I loved when there were just beautiful visuals combined with educational information, combined with like amazing experiences. I loved getting to watch these photographers and videographers go into the wild and gather information and data and provide us with sometimes like breakthrough videos and images of these animals that, one, are just so cool, but two, actually make a huge impact on the research world and in the conservation world in general. So all of this, of course, is happening at once, and thus is born my dream to be a National Geographic videographer. And that's a big dream. I know. That's a big phrase. That's a big sentence, a big job that is really, really difficult to do. And so of course, little me, who is from a small-ish town in Arizona, where you're kind of taught like, shoot for what's realistic. Maybe in like other places and other cultures, you're taught shoot for the moon, shoot for the highest dreams possible. But in my town and in the culture that was cultivated in that area and in my family, it was no, shoot for what's realistic for you. So I thought, that's a cool dream, but I'm never gonna achieve it. And when it came time to go to college, I stopped for a second and I was like, this is it. This is college. You have your chance to like chase your dream and get an education for it. And so there was a moment there where I went for it, and I applied to a bunch of different universities, and I got into U of A, I got into UC Davis, I got into a bunch of universities for animal sciences. I even went to the orientation day for University of Arizona for animal sciences. But then I got pressured by people around me and new people who had entered into my life through the church world, who were telling me, but you should be in music. You should go into music, and you should do music in ministry because that's what you're good at, and that's what, we all think that you should do. And that was my biggest mistake, was listening to people who thought they knew what was best for me. People in my family and friends, and people who weren't me. So I switched universities, I switched majors, and I'm not necessarily regretful. I met my wife at Grand Canyon University, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons, and I learned a lot about my sexuality in relation to the world. But now fast forward to the present. I'm here, I'm 25 years old. I'm at a point where I realized that ministry was not a sustainable career for me as a queer person, and I realized that video is more important to me and is more of a passion and a joy for me than ministry is and than music is. And I quit my day job. I quit my day job as a barista to be a full-time videographer, and I'm doing relatively good at it. I have regular clients, the bills are paid, and I'm doing a lot of small businesses, a lot of restaurants, but yet here I am, still sitting here wondering, why don't I feel fulfilled? And then it wasn't until my wife and I got memberships to the San Diego Zoo. We started going all the time, And I started, of course, bringing my camera. I got this huge lens, this big lens to take close-up shots of the animals. And suddenly it came back to me, that passion, that dream that I've always had since I was younger, of taking videos of animals for a good cause. And I was sitting here this past month and I was like, why did I let that dream go? And of course I wrestled a little bit. I thought, okay, you're 25. Is that too old? Is that too old to, you know, turn your life around and turn your dream around? Are you too far removed from the community of documentary videographers to even try to chase after that dream? And I wrestled with that for a little bit, because you have to remember where I'm from, the answer to that should be, yes, you are too far removed. Stay in your lane, stick with what is going to make you money and keep you secure. But then something crazy happened and my wife started feeling like she needed a career change. And the funny part is that something that her and I have always bonded over is that wildlife conservation is a shared passion of ours, a shared childhood passion of ours. And when she came to me and started talking about this, I was blown away, because I was like, wait, this is what I was thinking about. And we sat there and we had a hard conversation about, what does this look like for us? And we came out of it saying, we're not getting any younger. Why are we not chasing after our dreams? We have worked so hard to get here, even in just an apartment that we can afford by ourselves in San Diego, in a place that we love so much. We have worked our butt off to get to just having a stable life. Why not continue the hard work to keep chasing after our true dream that we've had for so long? So that brings us to today and the path ahead. And a lot of that is unknown, but a lot of it has been actually very surprising. I've been accepted into a mentorship program where I'm going to be mentored by, you know, professional documentary videographers. I've been accepted into an online community where it's just a community full of people like me or professionals, where I can reach out to people and talk to them about, you know, their own experiences and stuff like that. And truthfully, I don't know how I'm going to make this work still, but the opportunities that have popped up have been absolutely surprising by me just trying, just emailing people and networking with people and not being afraid to say, I am brand new, I'm a beginner, help me. So this, I guess, is a little bit of a reintroduction to this channel, where, you know, when I started this channel, it was kind of just gonna be just about videography and maybe gear and things like that. But I've always wanted this channel to be my personal channel, my space for me to make content that matters to me. And then if it helps you guys or matters to you guys, that's gonna be great too. And obviously I'll still do things related to videography, specifically like tech reviews and different, you know, gear things and tips and tricks that I've, you know, developed along the way. But there is going to be this main element now of me chasing after this dream of being a documentary videographer. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what the videos from here on out are going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to have a regular posting schedule, but I am here to share this with you guys because, you know, you all are always my biggest support system, and I'm so lucky to have you guys from both the channel before and also my second channel, the Angel and Nicole channel. So yeah, that's why a lot of these little clips of animals have just been popping up on this channel, because I'm just kind of getting more practice and starting to bust into that world and you know, get my toes wet a little bit. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much where I'm at now. So if you guys have any advice or information or just encouraging words, please feel free to drop them in the comments below, because I could use all of that right now. I guess the moral of this video is that if you have a dream and you think it's out of your reach, just sit down and like think about it. Like think about what baby steps can you take right now. Nicole and I's mantra currently is, you know, what's the next right thing? And I know that's a quote from Frozen, but it really is helpful. What is just the next small step that could bring you even just an inch closer to your dream? And what does that look like? And just do what the next right thing is going to be. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching this video, you guys. I really appreciate it, and I hope it's maybe insightful for some of you. So I'll see you in the next video, wherever that may take me. Peace out.